Good morning, Vibe City.
Good morning. Today we have another guest.
We got
Olga.
guests on guests.
Got guests on guests now.
Yeah, you thought we were going to go back to two per people a podcast. Ha.
Not us, bro.
Not us. Couldn't be us.
Yeah.
We still sticking on that 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Olga, say what's up.
What's up, guys?
Yo.
Yeah, that was a lot of me talking.
Can I just say, like, I've been low-key, like, hyped, like, dreaming about this for the past, like, few months of your podcast.
Hey, lit. Yeah,
Like-
we glad to have you on.
I'm a fan. I pestered these two to get on, and I really appreciate being given the chance. I'm really hyped and excited.
Yeah, we're hyped.
Oh yeah, we're hyped to have you. It's just so nice having guests now.
Yeah, it's like it makes
Shit.
the conversation like easier. You know what I
It
mean?
makes it also much better.
Yeah, it's not just all on us anymore.
No,
Yeah,
you had
it's
Robert.
facts.
Robert's here.
Robert?
Where the
Robert.
who's Robert?
He's been here all along. He's just been in the background.
Oh. Is this
Am I getting gaslit right now?
You guys have talked about Robert so many times.
Who the fuck's Robert? I've not once mentioned a Robert. You're gaslighting me.
He's your other roommate. You just
We
didn't
don't
know.
have another roommate. It's just us.
Some dude just walks out in the other room and is like, hey guys, what you got? I'm gonna be like, who the fuck?
Like, who the fuck are you?
He's just been here like not making any noise the whole time.
Dude, I freaked the fuck out. I call the cops, dude. I would straight up call the cops.
He's even been doing like podcasts with us the whole time.
Oh,
In
fuck
secret.
that. Like, no.
Subliminal like message podcasting. You guys can't hear it, but other like fans can.
Dude. Like,
Oh,
everybody else can. Everybody else can hear it but me.
Like he's just talking shit on like everything you're saying and just disagreeing.
Oh, love to hear
Damn.
it. Fuck off, Robert.
Yeah, fuck off, Robert.
Stop being wrong.
Yeah, dude. Like, fucking get correct opinions. Like, shit. Fucking
Yeah.
chill.
Can we start with like controversy?
We can start with like, I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell everybody that like comes on that like, yo, this is not structured. Literally talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about.
Yeah. Talk about first couple weeks of Joe Biden. I know that's what we've been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fucking Joe.
Yeah. So Herb, what are your? So you're a little mad at Joe today.
I'm a little mad at Joe today.
Tell us why.
All right, so Joe Biden freezed a Trump-era rule that lowered the price of insulin for low-income patients and for patients on Medicare. And also Medicaid. Yeah, that's all under that umbrella. He froze it when I know that, like, right now there's a lot of people, myself included, that, like, struggles to get, enough medication. Now, the way that it was presented from Fox, they were saying he just got rid of this rule and that the rule wasn't coming back. But then I fact checked it, and it was true. It was true that he pulled back on, froze this Trump era decision to lower the market price of insulin. But now it's on a 60-day freeze until they can renew it, or until they can review it, and then make a decision of whether or not they're going to keep it in place or not. Now, I understand the rationale on like why they're doing that, because yeah, like Trump was doing this and that, like every week.
Yeah.
So,
And was just so like boisterous and obnoxious that like we didn't really like
pay attention to like the day-to-day operations at the White House.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I get it. Like I understand reviewing it. Do I like it? No, I don't, because it was an HHS decision. So, like, I know that there's just a lot of people that like need that medication, and I bet the discounts have helped. I saw it help.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was. I don't know for sure if it was a direct causation of the Trump order. However, like it was, like I saw my price. I
Prices
saw the
went down
price
under
of
Trump.
yeah.
Yeah.
Prices went down. So, so yeah, that's kind of why and now prices are gonna go back up, and that's why I'm mad at Joe today.
Yeah.
But overall, I've liked what I've seen. I really liked what I've seen.
Yeah. Oya, what do you think Biden so far?
I think he's done a lot of good, especially in terms of the environment. We got back in the the Paris, not the Paris Accords,
Paris
it is the
Accord.
Paris Accords.
Yeah.
We had Ted Cruz look like an idiot by saying that like you care about the people of Paris more than the people of Pittsburgh, and it's just like, you are so stupid. Oh my god.
Wait, when did he say that?
He sent out a tweet at Biden being like, oh, you care, by signing this accord, you care more about the people of Paris than the people of Pittsburgh, which is just like...
Oh, you're going to want to speak into the mic.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. You're good. You're good.
Sorry. Ted Cruz just tried being like, oh, by signing this global agreement about lessening your impact on the environment, you clearly care more about the citizens of Paris than the citizens of Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh has had very bad environmental justice, environmental degradation issues in the past, and has been on its track to being a really clean city. And even the government and citizens of Pittsburgh are all for environmental action and getting back in the Paris Accords, which I think is just... Ted Cruz is just looking really stupid here.
Well, that's not new.
Yeah, that's Jack. You're also gonna want to speak into the mic.
Yeah, my bad. I don't have headphones, so I can't hear myself.
No, it's all good. It's all we're gonna get the headphone situation fixed.
Yeah,
Shoot, I could have brought
soon.
mine in.
Oh no, it's not that. It's I need to figure out how to use this interface. That's all because it's a little different than how the one at the studio is, and then it's also a lot different from the one. It's different from the one that I currently have, that I use for my shit, because I use the 2-channel.
Yeah.
But this is a much bigger hoe, and this is. Yeah, so I gotta spend some time. I'm gonna have to spend some time with this.
Yeah, gotta get accustomed.
I gotta get accustomed to the new equipment.
The new hardware.
I have some info on Biden actually, because I want to be able to fact check myself and not just spew shit. So apparently, the executive order made to make insulin cheaper, was proposed in December, of literally a month ago, and hasn't even gone, or just recently got into effect. So it was only for a week or so. I'm so sorry. A week or so where insulin has been cheap. I think...
Oh, well, then I guess then the market price just
dropped.
Just dropped, yeah.
From News LA showing the truth, so you can fact check that.
I still think that he shouldn't have done it in the first place. He should have just kept that shit going, because that shit was gonna fucking...
I don't necessarily approve of that. If they're just doing it to review it and improve it or replace it with something better, or do it in a different way, I totally get that. It seems really harsh to do that.
But the thing is that he doesn't have to freeze it. He can just write something new. Repeal, boom. Literally repeal and replace.
I will also say this, from what the article and saying with how the government's responding, or Biden's team is responding, is that they're trying to just unravel a lot of Trump's executive orders. Executive orders is just, it's this weird kind of issue within the government where it's kind of the president can basically just make laws. Woohoo!
Yeah,
and
weird.
Trump went crazy with the EOs.
Yeah.
Remember the Obama days? Oh, dude, those were the days with the fucking all of the EOs.
Yeah.
It was EO after EO.
And then, Republicans weren't too happy about that.
No, they were not.
Until Donald Trump was president.
Yeah,
that was fine.
yeah.
Obama very much pulled lame duck moves.
Yeah.
Dude, he just kept fucking going.
The president also, the president just has too much power now.
Yeah, the president has way too much power.
Yeah, it's why, we have 3 branches of government for a reason. Why are you just just making laws?
Just making laws. Yeah.
Do you think the executive order should be determined by a group of people that are elected outside of just the president? Because the president has a lot of control.
I think
over
that
who
the
he can
cabinet should vote
appoint.
on whether, if an executive order is going to be made, it has to be voted on by the entire cabinet.
Which they largely will vote with him.
Yeah.
The president's, the president makes up the cabinet. He or she, or they will appoint whoever's at the cabinet.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and then then even if the president's going to appoint certain people, but if they have a serious objection to an executive order, then they can vote against the president and get that. I mean, if that were a thing, which it's not, but should be. or could be.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was saying. Yeah. Like, because they should all have, they all should have to, like, vote on it. Like, every time, like, hey, I want to.
Yeah, dude, voting, that's like, I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah, like, just literally just put it to a fucking vote.
It's slow but steady.
Yeah, like,
That's the
literally
thing.
just put it to a fucking vote.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like this whole fucking how they do it in Congress. Congress is way too extra about how they fucking vote.
Yeah.
They all have to get together and they all have to debate and shit and all that fucking bureaucratic nonsense and then
Filibusters.
then filibusters and shit and then like nothing ever gets done and then it won't
Mitch
even
McConnell, Nancy Pelosi.
then Mitch McConnell doesn't even allow the vote to happen. So like y'all just debated for nothing. Like
I think the debates are more so for their citizens to show them like, hey, I'm fighting for your cause. I didn't just like sit this one out.
Yeah.
yeah, but they should be they should if they're debating like
why can't we tell Congress like, no, you're working today, like
yeah
figure this
dude
out.
we should
Oh,
dude that'd be
that's a
fucking
good
sick.
point.
Yeah, like
That'd
why,
be awesome.
Why can they do all of this like avoidant shit? Like be like, no, vote. Like
No, you gotta
we
vote
can't
today.
wait.
Yeah.
Like whatever decision you make, that's that's based on the people who elected you.
Mm-hmm.
But like you gotta make the law. You gotta do what you're doing. And that
Yeah,
goes
but we
for
have no
Democrats
power.
or
We
Republicans.
have no power to enforce that.
Well-
There should be there should have been a law in place saying that they absolutely had to, and that it's constitutionally lawful to do to force the government to do that. But it just was not. The founding fathers didn't think of that. Nobody ever thought to amend it.
Yeah.
So
Honestly, I think a good start is just preventing Mitch McConnell from having, or someone like him in his position of power, from being able to be like, oh yeah, we're not going to talk about these bills, which is kind of why we only got a $600, stimulus. Like
Yeah.
like a month or
dude,
two
I
ago.
remember when fucking Trump was saying, yeah, give everybody $2,000. Remember that shit? And everybody, dude, that was a weird week on the news.
Yeah, and now Biden's trying to do $1,400, but I think that was just because like every people got $600.
Yeah, already.
Yeah, so-
He's
just trying to fill out the rest, but
which he should do because like
Please.
$2,000 is going to determine whether somebody eats or somebody gets evicted from their home.
he's
somebody
he's
can
doing a lot of good
he's doing
shit
a lot
with
of-
COVID
yeah.
to like stabilize the economy.
He did a mask mandate on all government buildings and facilities.
Froze like evictions.
Yep, and I froze student debt too.
Yeah. Fuck.
I'm loving what Joe's doing right now. I
Yeah.
love it.
Overall,
yeah.
I'm happy.
I'd really like him to
The
go
private
even
prison
more.
contract ban.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that a little bit. Yeah.
I'm happy about that. I just think he could definitely, he's on a track to like really pushing to where we need. I really want to see some sort of like federal mandate over schools and stuff. How much can be open, how much can be closed. I think really like creating like a barrier on like how expensive tuition can be, if it can rise or anything, like pushing universities to provide more financial aid.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
really
what
like
the
that.
market. I wonder what the market says. School like college is one of these weird things that like I don't know how it's like what determine like how does the market determine the value of education?
A lot of like universities, from what I've seen, are just add all this administrative fucking bloat, and that's why college costs so much now.
Is to pay the administrators?
It's administration.
It's not teachers. It's not students.
Teachers get paid shit. Like they don't get paid anything.
Yeah, I don't know too much about this.
Like
so,
if it was just
yeah.
equipment costs, it wouldn't be nearly as much. It's just
Yeah, because I was thinking about this. I was like
people in like pretty much useless administrative positions.
like I was in college for like 4 years, and fucking I'll tell you this, it was not worth what I was paying.
No.
It was not worth anywhere near what I was paying.
Because it's a con, dude. I mean, you're getting kids right out of fucking high school, and you're saying, hey, you have to make this decision right now, and everybody's like, whoa, like hold up, and then but they're like, nah, and then you go to college not knowing fuck all about what you want to do. You end up in these classes, most of which are fucking useless to whatever it is you want to learn. And then suddenly, you're out and there's no jobs anyway.
It's basically factory farming dead end jobs.
I'm gonna defend college.
That's what college is.
I want to defend college in the sense that I feel like there are good approaches that are just done poorly. I think the reason and it's not a good reason that a lot of colleges have these gen eds, is because of the main issue of of this enormous inequality of education. Like, Jack and I, we went to CB, Central Bucks, like top tier public schools.
Yeah.
So we like the gen eds are pointless because we're kind of already learned that in our school systems.
Bits of it, yeah. Like at least like like
decent amounts.
There are gen eds I've taken that have overlapped with classes I took in high school.
But then you have some people where it's like in for instance, like in West Philly, you have schools that just don't have the funding to like get proper teachers, proper computers for kids, where they don't have a good education. So it's like, okay, in order to boost up your level, you got to take these gen eds. It's just so much inequality.
Are we about to bust open education?
All right,
are we about to bust open education? Let's go.
Real quick, I'm gonna say my hot take, and then and then we'll get into education.
Okay.
So then this is about college, because this is why I do not defend college at all. If you do not go to a top 10 program for whatever you're majoring in, your investment in college is ROI negative.
Yeah. Well, where did you hear that from?
Gary V. And I'm telling you right now, I believe that motherfucker. I'll check. You know what? I'll check it right now. Bro. And then now with education though.
Oh, like, about to bust this
like with the American education system, first of all, it needs to be federalized.
Absolutely.
That's the first thing that needs to happen. Education needs to be treated like how we treat Social Security. It needs to be federal.
Yeah.
Because there is no benchmark. There is no set of standard, and that's why that's why the United States is ranked 27th in the world in like fucking in education and shit.
Yeah, because the states decide like who pays more taxes, obviously like people who are rich, so they get better schools in their areas.
Yeah.
When in reality, if this is like if education is supposed to be treated as a social program, then why is it not all equal?
Yeah, like why is it not treated like Social Security?
Yeah.
Or Medicare? Really popular. Like I really don't. Again, it needs to be federalized, and and if it's not federalized, it's gonna stay bad. It's always gonna be bad.
Like, and people are like, oh, well, let's just pump money into the inner cities and see what. No, we need. This is a structural change that we need.
Yeah.
I can also understand like, if you have a decent size of money, investing it into like schools and neighborhoods, but definitely the government has to think big, because you have states that to this day do not teach evolution, do not teach their children chemistry, physics, science. Then when they teach history, which is for most schools, even including like schools like Central Bucks, unless it's like AP, they only teach American history, and they teach a very flawed history. Like in the South, there are plenty of school districts that are on their textbooks that are saying, oh yeah, the Civil War fought over states' rights, glosses over slavery, ignores Native American erosion.
Yeah, and this like American exceptional education. But like people might think like, oh well, that's not going to get better if you hand it over to the national government. But like the national government needs to set up the structure. There's going
to be a benchmark.
Yeah.
There's going to be a benchmark that no matter what school that you go to in the union, like there's a benchmark that you must meet.
Yeah.
And must be set.
Will y'all allow me to get real radical on education for a second? Because
all right, let's go.
I'm about to go into my education plan. Okay, so we gotta my problem with our education is we gotta throw the whole fucking thing out. There's this idea that if we invest more money into schools, that somehow we're not gonna economically benefit from it. But when you live in a society where more and more people are really well educated, that's good. You're more people are going to go out and start businesses and grow the economy because they're educated to do so.
Yeah.
So we need to massively invest in a new education system. I'm talking so hypothetically, let's say K through 6 is still normal, fairly. You have to learn the basics of just existence, basic math, reading, writing, science, history, whatever. But once you get a little older and you start to get more of a sense of who you are, what you might want, you should be able to take any class in anything obviously there's like, like there's like a ranking setup, like you have an intro class and then the classes you can take after that, like shit like that. But like, why do I still have to take algebra if I want to be a fucking English major? If I want to, or like, not even major, just like want to pursue like an English education. So I'm like, so then if you take that even further, why even have college? Why not just continue these classes? Like, there's no graduation, just free public classes for anyone who wants to take them.
Yeah.
And, on anything, on any topic, like, and obviously there'll have to be some like travel, like you might have to take like, bus people between different schools or like, but like I'm like, we got to revamp all of it is what I'm saying.
The only thing I'm gonna say, sorry, real quick.
It's okay.
Yeah, the only thing I'm gonna say about that is that's a really good idea. However, the timeline, because 6th grade you're gonna be about like 11 or 12. I'm 22, and I can tell you at 18, I thought I knew what I wanted.
Yeah, and most people don't. But
so
that's
I feel like
you should
I
be able
think
to go
that
back to school for free and retrain yourself. It's free retraining. You know what I mean?
I quite like the fact.
I don't know if that should be all subsidized by the government, but
I think it should.
I like the fact that there is some degree of control in choosing your classes. Again, I'm privileged. Jack and I are privileged of having schools where there was a pretty wide variety of classes that you could choose from. I feel like that model is good. Although I think that there should have been a general education from like kindergarten to like to middle school, like 8th grade, because I think 8th and 9th, whatever that is, because we are so behind in math and science, incredibly behind. The education that we have for our children in like whether kindergarten to middle school is like, it's so lacking. And it's not to say that kids can't learn, like for instance languages. Why aren't we teaching kids languages when they're young and they can learn it a lot more easily?
The fact that we don't start teaching languages till like middle school in a lot of cases is fucking stupid, because you're not going to retain it.
Yeah.
You retain people who are most likely to retain a language learn it when they're young. Obviously, there are some people who can learn languages when they're older.
The critical period is from age 2 to 7.
Yeah.
2 to 7 is the critical period. After that, for some reason, neuroscientists don't know why, but your brain just stops firing.
French, Chinese then.
Yeah, your brain like stops firing to pick up languages easily, like after you're 7. And like we should be teaching like language. Yeah. Like at earlier.
We should be revamping language. You should be revamping science and math so that we don't have to take pointless gen eds in the future when we're actually deciding on our majors, and especially when we have to pay in the current situation in America, we have to pay for college. I wanted to bring up what you said though with your plan. What you described sound amazing with like the classes being free, like you pick whatever you want for your major. But that to me sounds like a community college. There's a difference between a university like Temple versus a community college like Bucks County. What Temple has is, these colleges that have, like where I'm working at, a lab, research labs. They have research departments. We have a $10,000, $20,000 liquid chromatography mass spectrometry machine. You can't get that at community college. In college and university, you're kind of paying for the networking, the workshops, the studios, the access to this expensive equipment, to the services, to like meeting these amazing people and getting these talks. Yeah. Do I think it's overpriced? Yes.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I agree with you. I think like you should have those things, but I'm saying that should be publicly funded. And I know that that's like, pretty like far out, and that would probably like take years to even like implement the groundwork to build an education system like that. But like that and it sounds
I think
crazy.
We have to pay. I think we should pay into it so that it can be funded.
Yeah, but like through tax dollars, like it should. I don't know. I'm saying like this is like when we invest that kind of money into our education, and like we have like this really good public education system that anyone can take classes in, anyone can just take night school for free and just like quickly like if say like you're losing your job due to like technological advancement, then you can easily retrain. Like you like, okay, well, what do I want to do? You can go to classes and put that work in, and you don't have that financial pressure of like, oh, now you owe fucking 80 to 100 grand, sometime often more.
Well,
to some
most
university.
another thing is that like with the reason why like we don't have like when you look at colleges, like way more people are in liberal arts and shit like that, like stuff that you really don't need a degree for versus people that are in STEM. I think STEM and law are the two, or like technically 5 things that like I think yes you
STEM, law, med, I guess.
yeah. Well, I think med falls under STEM.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, technically.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
does.
technically it does.
And the thing is, I think in that, like, we have
Because
to,
like with everything else, like you can't, like it's not. Like you're gonna
But
come
you have the
out.
scholarship. You have the environment of scholarship and the access to resources.
That's not.
when
But
it comes to
again, that's
college.
something that I can. In the age of the internet, that's something that you can all get yourself.
Not necessarily. Do you know
Yes.
how much money?
No,
Do you know
yes.
how much money we're paying to access these databases? So much of our like extra fees, like for instance in Temple, goes towards paying like access to scientific articles.
Yeah, it is
scholarly
not.
journals.
But it's not worth. That's not worth what is
What we
is,
pay.
is what we pay.
It's like $50-$100 per student.
Yeah, but
subscription per one database.
Yeah, but the issue is that it's still ROI negative to the student because you're paying into this flat rate for a bunch of extra shit that doesn't even involve your education for like $50-$100. Your return on investment is going to be much more negative versus if you go by yourself to try to access these. If you need to access like a database, if you're talking about databases, like you can get any database on the internet because it has to be on the internet in order to function.
Yeah. And
It's just obtaining access to it.
To my point for a second, I'm trying to like also I don't think that like I think another problem within education is that we encourage too many people to go to college
Oh well,
and
absolutely.
and pursue that higher education. We shouldn't tell everyone like that's the way to go, and that's how you save money there.
Yeah.
Is because we have to do it by demand, but we have to use like the public sector to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if we were like, listen, like you want to be on like you want to like if you want to like be a musician or be a writer or be something, you don't really I mean if you want to take some extra classes, sure, but you don't need a 4-year degree for
no,
that. You
absolutely
just don't.
not.
I want to counter both of you. What's the point of education then if, as you're saying, Herb, you can just look it up online?
That's self-educate. That's still education, but it's self-education.
But there's a reason why, for instance, a lot of people choose actual in-person classes over just doing work online, doing just like homework consecutively, taking just like random classes you could do on your own. In some cases, it works out. Like I did physics on my own. I would have liked it better in person, but there was no option. It worked fine. Music worked out fine. I took a music theory class on my own because it was easy. But a lot of the aspects of learning and loving to learn about these things is academia. It's getting together with a bunch of people that are, at least somewhat passionate or interested in learning about that and being able to hear other people's perspectives, being able to access resources. Because I didn't know there were scientific articles I could look for until I worked for like my professor Gangadhar was like, oh my god, I need he said, hey, go to these databases, like find on these databases through TU Portal to look at PFAS remediation. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know that. That's what the point of a teacher is. They're supposed to teach you. You can't just be completely taught by by everything online. You have a class environment so you could both learn and grow together. That's why so many people that love to write and love to write stories do it and go to school, like are in workshops, go to classes. That's why musicians love going together to make music together and to learn and grow together, even if it's liberal arts. Just learning about history, you talk about it, you bounce these ideas back and forth with professionals, with people just like you, while knowing what the resources are. Like you can just be like, oh, there's so many resources out there, but like, what are those resources? How do I know how to be an environmental engineer unless I took this path that I decided on myself, and I had professors and others tell me, hey, this is a great thing to look at, or you should look at this, or you should use that. I just think it's overpriced and made inefficiently. There's just better ways of teaching that a lot of professors don't do, and that's a whole other reason, but it's also just so overpriced because the government is giving schools, like state schools, they're giving them a lot of money. But you know how the schools are spending them? The schools are spending them on, by taking out loans for constructions. They're overspending on administration. And let's guess, I mean, it's going to be sports, like football. You know, like, I think someone was saying, I think it was you, Jack, that was like, oh, Temple football team gets new jerseys every, like, season.
I don't know if that was me, but, like, that doesn't shock me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, in Penn State, they have a private lounge room, like a bougie ass lounge room for the football players, just
That's
the football
insane.
players.
That's insane.
And
Like,
yeah.
like I'm like that's not like I'm paying for an education, not for like, you know, so the top colleges in the country can pick who goes into the NFL next. Like,
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
not paying for a football player to get like
Yeah.
new gear
Like, I get
every
it.
season.
It's
Yeah.
cool. It's fun. I like college football. Awesome. But like, why? No, I'm sorry. Like, I'm like, why are we paying for that? I don't. If they were like, hey, where do you like? If they, it's all about transparency. It's like, where do you want your money to go? My fucking education, and I want to be spending a lot less of it. So like, if you gotta fucking cut football for that, great, do it.
Yeah, so like yes, I agree. Like, I agree with that. However, the issue comes down to, it works out for you, Oya, because you're in STEM. I'm telling you, unless you are STEM or law, there is no reason. There really is no reason to go to college if you need to get knowledge on something. And I think we do, and because the thing is, academia does not help that. It doesn't.
I agree with both of you to an extent. Like, I think it is beneficial to be in the room with professionals in your field, like, and to like physically be there and be able to have those conversations with those people and like and get access to those resources that a university can provide. But at the same time, you don't need to be there for 4 years. And
I can agree with that.
And this whole thing of like, you need a degree to get a job anywhere, and
That's
every
so
every
stupid.
single person coming out of
can
high
agree with
school
that.
is being pushed into either college, the military, or a trade. And like, you know, the military, fine, the trades, fine, but like, why are so many people going to college? And like, the reason it was cheaper, like, another big part of the reason it was cheaper, you know, 30, 40 years ago, is
Less
because
people were going.
less people were going. And like, now that hella people are going, it's costing more. And
Yeah.
not everybody needs to go. Like, if you're
No, not at
like
all.
you said, if you're in STEM, if you're a lawyer,
Law,
if you're a doctor,
yeah.
and you
or
need
Gov,
like
you can add Gov in there.
Gov, whatever. And you know, even like, and here's the thing, like, if you want to go into business, take a couple business classes. You don't need a
Yeah,
degree.
you don't need a degree.
If
No.
you want to go into music, if you want to go into anything
yeah.
creative, if you want to,
We were talking about this today. The people that are making like a lot of money, like they're it's not the college grads, it's the fucking visionaries with
it's people who think outside the box.
Yeah, it's like, it's people with big ideas.
Yeah.
And that's, and I don't, and honestly, I don't think that putting yourself through 4 years of a degree to knowing that you're going to be in debt because a overwhelming majority of people cannot, like, they can't not have a loan
Yeah.
in order to pay for college.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm arguing the fact that if you're not in those two categories of STEM or law, that going to college is most of the time going to hurt you financially more so. The education is
You're
not
saying-
worth the amount of money that you're putting into it.
Yeah. And
Oh, sorry.
yeah, like, I'm just gonna make a quick point. Like, you can go and get that education, but why does it cost that much?
Yeah, exactly.
And like,
yeah.
if we really, like, I mean, if it was, you know, hypothetically, like I'm saying, and here's the thing, I don't even know if that would work, and I'm, you know, willing to like talk about like being like less radical on that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if it was publicly funded, we're not gonna, you know, we're not putting money into fucking like this excessive shit that schools don't need. Like, like, you need teachers, and you need teachers and students ultimately.
Yeah.
And some administrative shit, so like you can keep the school physically running.
Yeah.
But why do we need like an NFL sized football stadium? I mean, not the Temple. I mean, I think Temple just uses LinkedIn.
The Temple just used the link. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
But like Beaver Stadium at Penn State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Why am I paying for that? I've watched like 2 college football games in my life. I could give a fuck. I'm here to get educated. And like, sorry, one last thing.
No, it's okay.
And I
okay.
get that, like, I get that some people like, you know, rely on like scholarships from athletics to like get into college, but like,
Yeah.
we can still do that and not be like, you know, trying to make, you know, college like the NFL.
Yeah.
Like the NFL is
Yeah.
the NFL. We can still they can still come and draft college players who are doing really well, but like, why are we spending all this fucking money?
That's a good point. And that's why I think, if you look at it, I think the reason why I heard you saying with some adjustments, because I think you have to add in social sciences, like psychology, like social public work,
All
etc.
that you can get on the internet.
You're dealing with sensitive topics and really complicated stuff like psychology that you would really need to get like actual training and experience with, because you're dealing with like
Yeah, then get
people.
on the job experience, but like
Or
going. But yeah.
Regardless, I genuinely think you could do that, because you can argue anything could be taught online. But the reason why you're saying that, like, if you're liberal arts or arts, you don't need education, you're gonna be in debt if you go to college. Well, you're right, because of how it is. If it was cheaper, if college was cheaper and more affordable, and you know, they very much cared about the quality of education and providing, you know, as much as they could for the students, then I think it'd be fine. Again, I came into college liberal arts, social sciences, and I along with my fellow peers thrived at the environment. It really helped us. Yeah, I could have just stayed home and learned certain things on my own, but again, to my point I made, you have the you have the resources, you have the environments and the professionals to help you, and it can help a lot of people, but others don't need it. Like you don't need music, you're good at it. I mean, you don't need to go to school for it. You're fine on your own, and that's great. But I know other music, you know, people that are good at Temple, for instance, that are like, hey, I made a good choice going to Boyer. I'm training with these kinds of people, I'm learning from these kinds of people, and that's great. Again, the whole thing is with money. So much money is being wasted. I don't see why we can't do as a pay-as-you-go. Again, like, so much of our money is going towards things that we're not even using. Like, I have no choice but to pay for access to the gym. I don't like the Temple gym. I have a completely different gym that I go to. So why is my money going towards a gym I'm not even using?
Yeah.
Like, why, like, or for, like, things that, like, for just programs or just shit that I'm not even using. Why can't I just do a pay-as-you-go thing?
So you're saying it should be like more individualized?
Yeah. Like, I shouldn't just pay this much money that'll end up paying for other things that
Well,
you
what do
don't
you mean by
even need.
You mean
Like,
it's
you
more
pay for what you use.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It should most definitely be that.
Oh yeah. I'd be out of here with maybe like $4,000 in debt.
Yeah,
Fucking-
exactly.
Yeah.
But then and the issue is that even with all that, despite how like useful it is to you, like your ROI is your return on investment is still like extremely negative.
Yeah, unless you're paying like, you know,
Unless you learn,
$20,000
unless you either self-teach yourself or get
or
on job
college
training.
is affordable and you get a good job afterward. Or like what I'm doing is, you know, again, I'm STEM, but other people that I know are getting experience with internships that they have. They have all these advisors and professionals coming in to like help with getting internships. A lot of college.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be because of college. Like it
College-
shouldn't.
a lot of
You shouldn't
employers-
have to. You shouldn't have to like. You shouldn't have to go to college and get and be working on a degree to get an internship. That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous.
No, you don't have to. Again, it all depends on what you're studying. But for instance, I'm friends with someone that's doing international relations and like politics, government. Like, for the employer, it says to them that like, hey, this person studied this, you know, knows this, understands this, is involved with that. That means I can trust them for the job and I don't have to teach them everything. You know, I don't have to, you know, I'm not wasting my money on someone that's not going to do as good of a job. Because someone could just literally show up and be like, hey, by the way, I'm self-taught on international law or like in international relations. Hire me. Like it's
No,
not a
but
guarantee.
that's not. But the thing is that you can't. So basically, what you're saying is that getting a degree you're a proponent for like the piece of paper like matters for the job.
More so the education, not necessarily the piece of paper.
Okay,
It's the
so the education that comes with the piece of paper, because at the end of the day, you still need to get the piece of paper.
It's weird. It's weird that the piece of paper does like it only matters if you finish. Like if you go through like 3 or 4 years of college and you take every single class but one and you don't graduate, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
I think they should be able to look at it and be like, hey, this person is in an accredited university. Again, they have access to all of this. You know, they're being properly tested.
They probably don't.
They should be able to look at it.
No, but what the employer is going to look at is the employer is not going. 9 times out of 10, the employer does not give a fuck where the person went, and normally like exactly like what they study. They don't give a shit about accreditations. They give a shit about, does this person possess the skills that can execute the job in this position to like maximize profit within the company and to improve efficiency into the company. You don't need like a degree, like getting an education, getting a degree is not like essential to doing that. It's like you need people like if the person in an interview can demonstrate the skills in what you're hiring for, then boom.
So what you're telling me is when I'm working, for instance, an engineering firm, I have to take a physics test for them, a chemistry test for them, a math test for them. I have to do I have to perform water quality experiments. I have to perform stormwater experiments. I basically have to demonstrate everything that I've learned in front of my employer, when I could just be like, hey, I took these accredited courses to show that I did this. Like Temple is great in the sense that like they teach they teach the kids AutoCAD, which is widely used for a lot of engineering.
You're in STEM.
Okay.
I'm not arguing.
Okay.
I'm not arguing.
You should be in college.
You should be in college. However, people like Jack and I don't need college. Yeah, like
I mean, I'm staying in college more so that I can like work immediately. Like so because like, you know, with I want to
because it's how the system is. I was lucky enough that I got a job.
Yeah, and you can also you have technical knowledge of like, you know, like with your music, you're not just a singer. Like you know how to produce shit.
Yeah.
If you were just a singer, you know, good fucking luck.
Yeah, good fucking luck. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the fact that, you know, like I don't have like the plus it's not the same industry either with film. Like I could have the technical knowledge, but you need like to make like a studio movie, you know, it costs millions of dollars. Yeah. But like, and like, not to say that I couldn't just go out with a camera and like, but like, you know, I want to try and see if I can go through that like production studio route. Like, you know, I'm gonna try straight out of college, but I also you know, it's unlikely that I'm gonna get, you know, just my first, you know, sit down with an agent or a manager. I'm gonna, you know, be able to sell my screenplay.
Would you say though that for what you're paying for, that you could, because I firmly believe that you could have learned everything that you've learned simply by doing research about stuff that actually matters in your field.
You're right, but
because the thing with colleges is that about 50, like I will say, for most things, about 15 to 20% is going to be useful to you.
Yeah, but the thing is with me, it's a kind of a different case, because I'm lucky enough to have, you know, a lot of my, you know, college finances, like I have a lot of help. So I'm ultimately not coming out of college with the same amount of debt that someone who went all on student loans would.
Okay, but if you were,
if I was, it wouldn't be worth it. No.
Yes.
But the reason I'm doing it is because like it's, you know, it's going to be cheaper for me. So
yeah, you
know, not totally free, but like, you know, I had a significant amount of help. But
yeah,
and so like I have time now to not only focus, you know, I can do my classwork, and that's just kind of busy work, so I can get this degree that, you know, that will help me get a job. But then I have a lot of time to work on my actual craft.
Yeah.
And I can like I you know, I have, and because, you know, my major is I'm a communications major. It's not the easiest major, but it's not the hardest major by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
So I have a good amount of time to like work on my stuff and like make some bills on the way. It's
Yeah.
I have to ask you, Jack, though. How is it that you for someone that's out of college and studied studying films, versus someone that just self-taught themselves, how are you able to how is someone that's self-taught able to convince a whole studio, a whole team of investors to be like, hey, trust me with being able to basically, create a movie? And
well, yeah. Here's the thing with that. I'm not a film major.
Okay.
I'm a communications major. So like my job basically, I mean my major is largely like it goes into a lot of the like the business side of that industry. So I kind of just I get that knowledge of how it works as kind of like a little side benefit, but it also just largely teaches the major teaches you about how media works and how you can use it to do your thing, whatever it may be. And so that's a good skill set to have when you're trying to come out as a screenwriter, because I know with my degree I now know how the media operates in a very detailed way. So when it comes to screenwriting, you don't have to have a degree at all. They don't care. If you present your script to an agent or a manager and they like it and they think that it's good and it's marketable, then they will try and find a studio to bring it on and greenlight it. And so Quentin Tarantino, for example, one of the undisputed goats of screenwriting, didn't go to college a day in his life. His education was he worked in a video store and he would just watch every movie. He would watch movies all the time and be like, what works, what doesn't, what's good, what's not.
And now that we live in the age of the internet, all of that stuff is very easily able to obtain. And once you because you go on the internet and you research what are the important, because you can go and research what are the important job skills for whatever job you want.
And there's so much more shit that's marketable now because of the internet. Hot people right now are having a fucking heyday.
Oh yeah, they are.
If you're hot, you're fucking hot, good.
If you're hot, you're making money.
Yeah, you don't have to go to college.
No.
Be an influencer. You're gonna make millions of dollars. Exactly. All you have to do is take pictures of your ass and put them on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's the easiest fucking job ever.
Dude, it's crazy.
And all you have to do is be hot. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's the only requirement.
For the people who are lucky enough to be of that attractiveness caliber, you can work. You can, if you have a passion, go for it. Absolutely. But you always have OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you in the sense that if we did revamp, the public education for kids, so you could learn already a lot more than we are. It's already getting kids much more of a head start with what they want, in all realms: STEM, law, arts, liberal, social sciences, whatever it is. It's already bumping them up, which I think is going to ultimately just help people make better choices when it comes to college. Overall, I think those that want to go to college, if they want to they want to pursue a history degree or just major, and should be able to do that. But I also feel like the term degree needs to vary from field to field. A STEM degree should say much, much more than having a history degree or a degree in music. I agree.
It already does.
Yeah, it already does. But I honestly, I agree in the sense that I don't think certain disciplines need a degree. Certain things that is just knowledge based is and it's much easier to demonstrate said knowledge and skill, and it's less technical, kind of professional. I very much agree. I think if you want to take classes instead of a whole ass degree, they could, employers could very much look at, okay, hey, you demonstrated this, but I also saw that you took this class, and that's great. Yeah. Again, making it much, much cheaper, and
that's what I think you should do. Because, let's say hypothetically, you're a 56-year-old truck driver and you just got laid off because your job got taken over by a robot truck.
Yep.
So, you go home that night, you're like, fuck, I just lost my job. What am I going to do? Maybe you have to take on some, part-time jobs or something to, support yourself, feed your family. But, hypothetically, if Andrew Yang's president too, you have that little extra 1,000 coming in a month. So, you're at least maybe you can be all right for a little bit, but you're like, I always wanted to be a lawyer. So let's say that rather than throw out the idea of a degree. So let's say that law firms, rather than requiring a degree in law or a degree in this or that, say you have to take these 20, 25, or maybe 30 classes if you want to be a lawyer.
Well, that's law school.
Yeah.
So law schools don't allow people in unless they have an undergrad.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Throw that shit out.
Yeah.
Throw that shit out.
Yeah, what you're saying, law school already does that. It's the same thing with med.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you shouldn't, like, if you want to just learn about law and become a lawyer, you know, whatever classes that, like, you know, the American Legal Association feels that you need to take and need to pass with a certain, you know, caliber to become a lawyer in the United States, whatever, if they want to set that standard, they can set that standard.
Yeah.
But the idea of a degree, the idea that you have to take all these extra classes that have fuck all to do with what you want to learn,
Yeah.
it's stupid.
I like where you're going with this because I've always found it so weird that, like, I could literally go for law or med, even if I haven't taken classes that had anything to do with it, simply because I have good grades and I have an undergrad degree. I very much think
also the admittance. They both have admittance tests.
Yeah, you have to also take a test, which I think is
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah, and med schools and law schools mostly consider their like a vast majority of how they decide who gets accepted to their law school or their med school is determinative upon their MCAT or their LSAT scores.
Yeah. I do, however, think that I don't think there needs to be an undergraduate degree. I always thought it was weird why can't you go straight into med, where you can also learn, you know, you go straight into med and you can learn in med school chemistry, math, biology, physics,
absolutely.
what you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand why. That always weirded me out. Like, why do you need you're pursuing a completely different major and then going to, like, another school? Like,
Yeah,
why
again,
all that?
graduate school is, I don't think graduate school is a scam for the most part, but undergrad is most definitely.
Yeah, because you have to go here for 4 years, and, like, what do you really, like
until you actually learn the useful skills for your profession.
Yeah, and, like, you know, you can space out your gen eds however you want, but you need to take, like, 2 solid years of gen eds to, like, have a degree. Why?
Yeah, it makes no it's
throw it out.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
That's why
it's so they can get more
it
money.
down.
It's so they can get more money out of you. That's why.
Yeah. Continue, Olga.
No. Yeah. I was gonna say that's why a lot of high school students are taking APs, and why I love it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it is just for that college credit, and it's just kind of like, you know, we should be learning to learn, not to get ahead in college.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's kind of sad. I very much just...
Yeah, we got to just ditch the whole... Gen Ed's gone.
Yeah.
And that's
Gen Ed's gone.
Gen Eds will be gone.
Go away.
If we can federalize education and do a better job at teaching kids. Because, again, you and I learned actual shit.
Yeah.
But someone in, like, South Philly probably didn't. And that's what's messed up. That's why they can't even do, like, algebra when they get to college.
Yeah, but that's even, like, I mean, well, South Philly, I think, has pretty good schools.
I'd assume
maybe,
so.
Sorry.
I mean, yeah,
maybe I was
North-
thinking about, like,
North
West.
Philly.
I think I was thinking about...
North Philly and probably parts of West
And
Philly.
probably parts
Yeah,
of West
I'm so
Philly.
sorry.
It's, you
I'm
know,
so sorry if I offended anyone.
No,
No,
you're
you
good. I mean,
didn't.
it's, you know, lower income
I'm
areas.
not from here.
Yeah, it's a statement of fact. Lower income areas tend to have shittier schools. It's just, you know, it's
Yeah,
what it is.
that's just a fact.
We're arguing that that needs to change. It's not going to
Yeah.
offend anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I don't know. It's like why can't this be like, and why do we have to have the standard by age either? Like, why do you have to be in the same, like, why can't you be where you're at?
Yeah.
'Cause maybe you don't want kids being somewhere where they shouldn't be and around a lot of adults.
Well,
Could that be an issue? Like, you don't want, like...
that's why you
Well,
go, like,
yeah,
primary school.
that's why they do it.
I mean, that's
Because
why
you
I think, like,
don't-
you should
because
have
you
a
don't wanna
separate
have-
primary education. But, like, let's say hypothetically, like, you are, because the problem
like
is,
in high school, I could very much agree with, like, in high school I could have I was already taking AP classes. I could have started my degree, honestly, if I had the chance, which some people do.
Yeah, they already allow that.
I'm more saying though, like hypothetically, if you're 12 and you read at a level that a 9-year-old would typically read at, like, you need to, like, but rather than, like, you know, give that kid extra assistance in writing and reading, they just push them through. So, like, a lot of kids, and especially in, like, you know, areas with shittier school districts, some people graduate, like, not really having a super solid grasp on reading. Like, it's not to say everyone or that's super common, but like
Yeah.
it does happen. So like if you never learn that, you keep just getting pushed through, you're gonna come out of your education uneducated.
Well, yeah.
But then at the same time, if you're suggesting pushing them back, it's going to be so humiliating and demoralizing.
Yeah, but they already do this. It's called special ed.
Yeah, but I'm saying that like it's that
Like,
shouldn't-
if-
that's typically like it's that but that's more so in like better areas. Like better school districts have better special ed programs.
I don't.
Let me see that.
I'm
like,
pretty
I'll just
sure
look at,
that like federally, like by law, all
but it doesn't have that.
They-
They all have,
like the standard is different,
that's
absolutely, but
that's
they
my
all
problem.
have access to that.
A lot of people, but rather than like have the kid be a burden on the system, they just push them through.
I think that's more of like a
Wait,
if you got-
efficiency issue, because like Central
Hold
Bucks
on.
wouldn't do that.
I need to.
No, but
I'm searching it up right now. Because I think it still goes back to the issue of, like, again, a school having not enough money, not being supported by the government, is doing that. Because that's also...
I completely agree. That's why we need to nationalize that shit. Get all at one standard.
The School District of Philadelphia provides an extensive range of educational services and supports for students with diverse needs within our schools. So they have it. These services include learning support, emotional support, artistic support, life skill support, and multiple disability support. So they have it, just probably like underfunded, and that's the main issue.
The issue is not a matter of access; it's funding.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's that's what I'm saying. But like, it's that people are getting like there are people who are not quite like. Maybe not quite like special ed level of like not passing their classes, but people who are not like really learning the material but maybe just getting by somehow, that are like, I'm like, you're not, that's not like, and I'm not saying that like our letter grade system is so like weird too, but at the same time like we need to like be teaching kids like how they need, it needs to be more, we need to be teaching kids how they need to learn, because otherwise like if there's that old like saying that like if you if you try and like teach a fish how to climb, I forget which way. Try and teach a fish how to climb a tree. Yeah,
It's gonna always think it's stupid.
Yeah.
That's an Einstein quote. Yeah.
So like it doesn't really make a ton of sense to have like this one standard when most people, like a lot of people don't learn the way that like our education system teaches.
So you're saying we should do a better job at diversifying the methods of learning. Like some people are visual, some people are hands-on, some people are can very much do it by the book, others need like actual demonstration and work.
Yeah, that's generally an issue across all of academia.
Yeah, even in East, like I would have these amazing professors that like did a variety of like self-learning but also group learning and lecturing and just some involvement versus some on your own. But I had also professors like for instance in college where it's like, all right guys, blah 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 lecture, all right, read textbook, bye. Yeah. Like I very much agree that the method of teaching should be very much improved. I know people would learn like when they pass a class, they will actually pass it because they know it, and they would learn, and not because professors or teachers are curving. I think it's more of like this method of education. And
the COVID situation and Zoom has made that even worse.
Woo-hoo!
Like I don't feel like I've learned anything in like from college in like a while.
But like, what can you do then? Like if you there's some like for a lab, I have to physically be in person for a lab class. But when you have a pandemic like this, like, what's the other option? And it sucks so much.
It's either you keep shoveling money down the gluttonous hole of the university, or you don't do that.
What about people that will lose that momentum if they take a gap year or semester? What about the people that lose their financial aid? Or feel like, oh shit, like I was on this track of learning this stuff. I took chemistry this semester. I'm supposed to take chemistry too after my gap year, and I forget everything. Like,
yeah, what do you mean? What about them though?
Like
in regards to what?
As in, like a lot of people, don't feel like they can just take a gap. They don't feel like they can.
Well, that's fine. Then again, like they can either choose to keep giving the university money, or they can choose not to. And they're
but you
like
could lose your degree by like again.
Well, yes, but that's a decision that the individual is going to have to make. Like you can't put a safeguard in place for that.
I honestly think that the university should consider, like, especially in times of pandemic, reassuring that financial aid is guaranteed even if you take a gap year semester. I do like if
Well, normally
during a
is.
it's not. If I took a gap year or like gap semester, I'd lose my financial aid or be
Yeah,
severely reduced.
until you reapply.
No, even when you reapply back, you lose the financial aid, or you might have to start paying for your debts.
You'll have to pay on your debts, but
Yeah, that's also
financial
another
aid
issue.
is normally determined upon household income. Like it's like there's like the government's going to look at what either if you're filing under yourself, they're going to look at what you make, and then they're going to see, okay, what under the policy, like how much money you get for this amount of income and X number of other factors. When you reapply, there's a benchmark already in place for that. There's no penalty if you take a gap year. You just lose the funding, and then you have to reapply and make sure that all of your information's
Okay.
the same.
I have something. Students who take a gap year may have to relinquish scholarships or financial aid. I think it's a university thing. That it ends up being is that the university's just like you're taking a
Yeah,
gap,
but scholarships not financial. Like scholarships different from financial aid because
but
that's
it's
all.
scholarships or financial aid, so it's inclusive.
Yeah, but for financial aid, that's not how that works. Because financial aid is always determined upon income and then other
Okay.
demographic factors.
Okay, all right. Well, a lot of people do benefit from the scholarships if they aren't like.
Oh, well, yeah,
doing from school,
absolutely.
So it sucked to lose that. Again, I really think that what Biden could do, going a little full circle, is by mandating that whoever takes a gap year semester, they would still access the same scholarship and financial aid, if that does count, when they return to school.
That's going to be a hard sell.
No, I don't agree with that.
Because like that,
Yeah.
it's going to be a hard sell to like the American public. That like if someone is not in college, then like we should be paying.
Pausing their money for them. No, absolutely
No,
not.
as in like, because you get a scholarship every semester. Like however much money you have, it's divided per how many semesters you're given, or like or it's like, oh, you get this amount of money per semester. It's like, hey, instead of losing that scholarship, if I want to take a gap semester because I'm going insane, when I get back, I can still have that scholarship as I'm going to school.
Okay.
Yeah,
make
but
sense?
then you're holding that money. You're holding money that could be going to somebody else that is in the program. Because the thing is that.
So maybe it shouldn't be competitive then. Why shouldn't it be for whoever deserves it?
Yeah, which is determined by competition. Normally, the most skilled people will be granted scholarships for merit scholarships. But at the same time, you can't just freeze their money, because there are other people that could be using that money
to go to
while you're taking a gap year. And if you reapply for the scholarship, just reapply for the scholarship. If you lose the scholarship, reapply. If you were doing well before your gap year, there's no reason for you to not have the scholarship again once you reapply.
I think, and again, audience, and just fact check me, I think the case is that you can't reapply, at least, and again, you guys can correct me.
You can't reapply?
I think you can.
Yeah, you can
Then
reapply.
I'm
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you can. I mean, I'm not 100%, but
I'm pretty
that
sure
doesn't-
you can
yeah,
reapply.
It's that sound like that doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just think that once you start freezing money, that's that's going to incentivize people to not be in school if they for whatever reason,
Yeah.
knowing that their money is going to be secure.
Not that they can spend it, but just knowing that if they do go back to school, they'll be partially covered. That's kind of what I mean. Not that they won't be able to use that money. It'll only go towards school if they go back to school. That's what I mean to say.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, was I not clear about that?
No.
I'm
No.
so sorry. I was like, they don't have access to that scholarship money if they're taking a gap. They can only go towards school if they go back to school. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, isn't that how
Okay.
that's normally how it works?
No, but I thought you guys were talking about if you take a gap year, the scholarship, you may like lose out on that scholarship.
Like, and if you come back, you may not have the scholarship again. That's what I mean to say. That's what I was...
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
you can reapply for the scholarship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
Then I must have been talking about an issue that just does not exist.
And like,
Yeah.
and if you've proven
That's
thus
all
far
good,
that like,
yeah,
you're
like-
able to like, you know, pass the classes you're taking with like, you know, decent grades, then
Yeah.
why shouldn't they get
Yeah,
it?
there's no reason for you not to get it again. And as long as your financials are at least similar, you should either.
Yeah.
You'll, unless you start making more, then that's gonna
Yeah, affect that.
affect how much money you're getting.
And at the end of the day, though, the reason, like, wouldn't have to be dealing with, like, all that if not for the fact that school was much more affordable. By school, I mean college. You wouldn't have to be
Oh
so
yeah,
worried
we
about
need
debt.
we need to make that shit. We need to stop. I do not want to be paying all this fucking money so that headmasters can fucking. Sorry,
Not even
that's so
that.
that fucking
Headmaster Dumbledore.
Headmaster Dumbledore. So that fucking
The school board?
like administrators
literally-
can
it's the
stuff
school
their
board.
fucking pockets.
Yeah.
Because the professors, like, these professors do not get paid
They
at
make-
yeah,
they
yeah.
make no money.
all.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and what's
bad.
unfortunate is that there's so many international
I'll be
professors.
right back.
Sorry, is it okay if I continue?
Yeah, you just keep going. Yeah.
What's unfortunate is that they prey especially on immigrant international professors that's kind of like locked in because of their visas in that job, knowing full well that they could be paid more elsewhere
But
if
they're
not
like, we're
for...
not paying anymore.
Yeah, and it's such bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
why are we paying some, you know, administrative staff named Linda or Bob to just look up a few things in the computer?
Yeah, Linda and Bob. Fuck you guys.
Like, why are they getting more money than an actual professor?
No idea.
And there's also just like, and that's also why we're getting professors that can't teach shit.
Oh yeah, because that's tenure too. Because like tenured professors who are like mostly like researchers for the university, but still like have to teach classes.
I don't
but,
get
like
why
they don't want to teach.
Why can't they just do research and you get actual professors that want to teach? Because clearly the best in a lot of the cases, you get amazing teachers from the higher paying colleges that actually pay the teachers salaries. And it's like, we're missing out on quality teachers
Yeah.
and professing because they're like, I could, you know, as much as I love these kids, I am getting paid this much when I could be making so much more somewhere else. And you lose
Yeah.
teachers that want to teach.
Yeah, I honestly think it's because a lot of it is we should pay teachers more.
Yes.
It's because we're gonna get better teachers
And
if we
in
pay them
public
more.
school. Oh my
Yeah.
god. They make
They make nothing. No, it's bad. Like we gotta like the amount we're paying teachers right now is absurd.
Yo, really sorry, but we're gonna have to cut
Are
this
we?
short. I just got called into work. So
How long have we been going? To
we've been
ask for the millionth time.
an hour 7.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
No, not too
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Okay.
We only talked about education though. I feel bad.
Yeah, it's
I feel-
okay.
No, it's all good.
It was a good topic.
It was a good
so,
topic,
You know,
yeah.
unfortunately, we got to cut it a little short
Yeah.
tonight. But you know, we'll be back soon. You know, Oya, I'm sure you'll be back
Oh,
on
yeah.
again.
Yeah, we
many
gotta talk
times.
about the environment.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll hit up the environment next time.
Hell yeah.
And Star Wars.
And Star Wars.
Avatar.
And
Yep.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I guess that's you know, good morning, Vibe City. What's poppin', y'all? You know, have a good day.
Yeah. Signing off.
Bye.
Yeah.